Hey guys, it's me, Man. Today I want to give you guys a brief overview of War Machine and Marvel Strike Force. But before I did that, I wanted to shout out Firemask 81. So he actually sent me a fan art he did of my channel. I'm going to put it on screen right now. Really nice piece of art. That's sort of the rainbow rocket house I have as my profile icon. And I love getting to see this kind of stuff from you guys. It makes my day. And that's so awesome that he made this for me. And I just wanted to show it to you guys so that way you guys could get to see his art as well. And if you guys ever make any fan art of the rocket house, feel free to send it to me. No need to, but I'd always love to see if you guys ever do make something in relation to my channel, or if you ever want to talk to me, feel free to reach out to me down below. I have a link to my Discord down below. I try to respond to everyone, and I do respond to everyone in Discord, and I enjoy talking to you guys, so always feel free to reach out to me. But let's get back to our War Machine review. So War Machine, kind of an interesting character. He was the start of the power armor team. He has the military tag, but they don't really do anything with that really in the game right now. And his kit's okay. It's good. I'd say War Machine's like B tier or something like that in the game. It's not that great of a kit that you really should like drop all your other characters and farm them up. But say you got like a 5 red star War Machine out of an orb, there are worse things in the world you get. So we'll start out with his passive integrated targeting. He gains 10% damage, 5% piercing, and if an enemy drops below 50% health, they gain taunt, so it sort of marks an enemy. Not perfect. I wish they had, a lot of people want this in the community, where it's sort of like you apply an effect to them called targeted. And essentially this means you can attack them. It's not exactly the greatest when you give someone taunts, because then that means you must attack them, and that can make it awkward sometimes if maybe you have to go for someone else. Not always do you really want taunt applied to people, so it'd be nice if it was more like an optional taunt, aka the targeted effect, but that means you could still target them if there were other taunts, but you didn't have to attack them. So it's not a perfect skill right there, but it's okay. It's fine. But what is kind of interesting is if Iron Man is an ally, he gains 30% crit damage, and both him and Iron Man get death proof. And if War Machine is in war, kind of in the name, he gets an additional 30% damage. So he's one of these characters that does better in war than the other modes, but not a lot of his kit relies on being in war, so he's not one of those characters that are kind of useless outside of their main mode. Rescue, a lot of her stuff relies on war or being with the power armor team, so she's significantly less useful if you're not using her in that mode. War Machine, that's not the case. This is the only thing in his kit that relates to war. His basic is Railgun. He'll attack the primary target and adjacent targets for 140% damage, applying offense down to the primary target. This is an okay basic attack. Nothing really to write home about here. It's nothing mind-blowing. It's always great to apply offense down, and it's nice that it's an AoE. It's a fine basic attack. His special skill's kind of interesting. Missile system. He'll attack primary target and adjacent target 3 times for 90% piercing, so he'll shoot missiles at them. And if Iron Man is an ally, he attacks 1 additional time. So essentially, you're doing 4 attacks, each for 90% piercing, 360% piercing damage against somebody. So that's some nice damage, and it's adjacent targets as well, and it doesn't fall off. The same thing for his basic attack. It doesn't fall off on adjacent targets. It does the same amount of damage to everyone. So this is a pretty good skill. Can do a good amount of damage, and it's nice that it's piercing. But his ultimate is probably why you're bringing him on the team, and that's cluster bombs. So he'll attack all enemies for 340% damage, and his damage is increased by 30% per hero ally. So if you have 4 hero allies on your team, that's an additional 120% damage right there. So we're talking like 460% damage to all enemies with his ultimate. That is pretty incredible. War Machine, in an ideal scenario, you'll be putting him on a power armor team with Rescue. Iron Man, if you're using War Machine, you really want to pair him with Iron Man. That's kind of difficult because Iron Man does well on his sort of Avengers team right there, because he synergizes well with Captain America. So it's not a bad idea to refresh Iron Man when you're running Blitz or Raids or something like that, if you needed to use War Machine and Captain America. So if you're running both the Power Armor and the Avengers team, Iron Man's sort of going to overlap between those teams, sort of like that's the Venn diagram right there. So you might need to refresh Iron Man, because War Machine does do a lot better with Iron Man on his team, but he does not require Iron Man to be super useful. He just gets a lot better if you do have Iron Man with him. And he also synergizes well with hero characters, so make sure when you're building a team around him, you don't put him with a bunch of villains. You want to put him with heroes, and ideally, if you can, throw Iron Man in there. So overall, War Machine has a good amount of damage, not a lot of utility. He does not do much outside of the huge burst in his ultimate, but he's an okay character. It's a good amount of burst, but this is no S tier right here, but I really like War Machine personally, so I'm a big fan of him and I enjoy using him because I just think War Machine's a cool character. That scene in Iron Man 2 where Iron Man and War Machine were in the garden, they're shooting out all those little robots, you know, that's pretty awesome scene in the MCU if I do say so myself. But that being said, let me know what you guys have to say about War Machine down below. And at the end of the day, what do I know? I'm just a 17-year-old signing off, guys.